Hi, and welcome to the stream. I'm your caster this evening, Bahamut. Welcome, Twitch chat. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for waiting. It was a half an hour startup time, but luckily we got it. Let me just make sure I turn this back on. Actually, we're gonna keep that off for now. Mostly because of the fact that it's just gonna pop up over my. Will it pop up over my face? We'll find out. No, it's all behind me. So we don't have to worry about that because we do know that the map is Towers of Doom. On the left-hand side, we have beginner bots. And on the right, we have UNT Eagles. And let me actually just double-check that really quick. Yes. Okay. So going into Towers of Doom here, we do typically see a big priority on things like Dahaka. He tends to be in this first-round ban pick phase. Another thing that we typically see in a lot of these games is Uther as well. Uther being banned out actually right away here. And the reason Uther being banned out, overall just a very strong healer. He provides so much to a team, and he works with so many different comps. There's many ways to kind of put him into, any situation. He's definitely, he works well as in the 4-man. I don't know about solo lane capability, but he definitely, he can either be with one single other person, or you could run him with something like a Ariel Vala Uther combo that we see that more on things like Dragonshire, but it's still a plausibility here. Now, Ariel and Uther being banned out, and the Ariel being banned out here is extremely strong because of the fact that she is one of those things we do see on this map with the battery. So you typically see something like a Vala Ariel on this map, or a Gul'dan Ariel as well. And Dahaka going to be picked up here, first pick on the side of UNT Eagles. And that is due to the fact that... Thank you, Twitch chat. Thank you, Rexpo. Thank you, Panda, for putting that image in my head. But we do have Dahaka being picked up by UNT Eagles. Now, they do have that really good global threat. He's going to be pushing that top lane and being able to burrow and flank the team, as well as kind of just be that, that threat every 60 seconds. There's a possibility, well, after 60 seconds of a burrow, of course. But, no, that's a very strong pickup on the side of UNT Eagles. On the side of beginner bots, I'm curious what they're going to be going into here. With this 1-2 pick, sometimes we see a tank healer, tank assassin. It's possible to see maybe a Stitch's Kael'thas right out the back. It's actually going to be Stitch's Rhaegar. I like the Rhaegar a little bit better because what it does is it offers that flexibility that you get in a team. You now basically have ranged and melee assassins to ban from and counter on the side of UNT Eagles. So I like that. They got the second health bar from the Rhaegar, and they've got the hooks and the slam from the Stitches. So that's really, really good on the side of beginner bots. Before we go into this last ban phase, or this last pick phase, when we go into our second ban phase, there we go. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a healer... Well, actually, the Tassadar isn't banned out. Nope, okay. I was thinking it might be... You could go like Tassavala. That wouldn't be a bad combination. But they're going to go ahead and pick up the Malfurion and the Li Ming. Malfurion I really like. He does have that root for the zone. Li Ming combos well with that. Dahaka can drag onto some roots, so that is a good combination synergy. Li Ming being able to capitalize with that poke damage, as well as the resets in these team fights. And that's going to be interesting. Let's see. On the side... beginner bots. They're going to need to ban something out here, and I would assume that they're going to probably go for either an assassin or a tank. They don't have a main tank at this point, so banning out the Arthas would be pretty strong on the side of beginner bots, unless they're going to take it themselves. Then Diablo might be the way they go, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and get that Genji out of the game. They're not going to pick it up themselves here. Now, what I'm curious is... what are we going to be getting on the side of UNT Eagles? Looks like they're going to hover the Chromie. That range damage can be really just extraordinarily detrimental against that Li Ming Malfurion, that backline damage that she can provide. I don't know, though, because I feel like the Stitches Hook would anti-synergize with that. Something like a Kael'thas would have been a better ban, in my opinion. his wave clear, I think he's a better shrine fight. But then again, I'm not, you know, a Chromie main or anything, so I really couldn't tell you. But at this point, what do we have coming up here on the side of beginner bots? I'm thinking if they were to lock in maybe a Grey main with the Kael'thas, that wouldn't be too bad, and then you can flex on that last spot. But then again, as I was talking about before, the Vala Tassadar is open, and that's a pretty good combination. Tassadar being able to provide that vision, the Force Wall being able to split the team up a little bit in some of these engagements, especially if there's a hook. You get the hook into a Force Wall. That's really powerful. So I personally would be leaning towards those two pickups. And then you could maybe run a Kael'thas on your last pick for the wave clear. It's actually going to be the Zarya Vala. So Zarya providing a different sort of shields. Those shields obviously being able to buff her own damage is going to be really powerful. Last pick on the side of UNT Eagles. I still think the Arthas is definitely something they're going to need. And okay, I was going to just about to talk about how I think there needs to be a Grey main pick with that. They don't have a melee assassin, and they have that dive. They've also got Grey main for the solo. No, actually, they have Dahaka for the solo lane. Grey main will probably be in bottom with the Li Ming, Malfear, and Arthas in mid. Or maybe you'll swap those two. Not sure. Last pick, though, here. I feel like they might have been banking on that Grey main. But at this point, they do have a really strong front line, so honestly, picking up that Kael'thas, even a Gul'dan, wouldn't be a bad idea. Gul'dan does provide a decent amount of poke. As long as the Zarya and the Stitches are taking the Brood of the damage, they've got the Rhaegar for the second health bar. Yeah, I think, honestly, a Gul'dan would be pretty powerful on the side of beginner bots. It's actually going to be the Malthael, so they're going to go ahead and take him for the percentile damage in these team fights up against this Dahaka and Arthas. I don't know how I feel about the Malthael. They've got a lot to keep him alive with the Ancestral as well as the shielding from Zarya. I guess you've got the friendly hook if things get bad, but then again, you might end up hooking an enemy, so you never know. But either way, here we go into our first match, Beginner Bots versus UNT Eagles on Towers of Doom. Alrighty, and on the left-hand side, we have Beginner Bots with Lacacia on Stitches, Judo Trip on Vala, FPSGO on Zarya, Tinao on Malthael, and Stealth on Rhaegar. On the right-hand side, we have UNT Eagles with Calgar on Dahaka, Akin on Malfurion, Legacy X on Arthas, Z-Fury on Li Ming, and Phoenix Sniper on Greymane. Going into this matchup here, I'm looking at the side of beginner bots, and I'm not sure how they're going to split up their lanes here. Does the Malthael go up against the Dahaka on top? I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting first match, but here we go. Alrighty, so on the left side, let's take some of these towns. Heroes. So we do have the cocktail build coming out from the Greymane. Looks like the standard build from the Arthas. Slam build from the Stitches.
The battle begins in 10
Doesn't
seconds.
look like it's anything out of the ordinary here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, what are you waiting for?
Right, so here we go into this first matchup. Currently the bush being scouted out by Zarya is not going to yield anything because of the fact that UNT Eagles has been kind of hiding behind their gate, making sure that the positioning from the beginner bots is kind of given away a little bit by some of those poking that they're doing, but it looks like at this point we do have a double root onto the Zarya. but it will not be yielding a kill. Malthael is going up at top lane. We actually have the Dahaka currently in bottom. He'll actually brush talk top at the last second after he pushes his wave up, leaving Rhaegar to go ahead and push that back. But we do have the Malthael actually rotating down into mid. That's very interesting. Are they just giving up the top lane, or are they just leaving the threat from the Malthael? That's going to be interesting. Looks like they're running their double tank in mid, though. They have their Vala and the Rhaegar in bottom up against the Li Ming and the Malfurion, and she will get that orb right onto that wolf butt right there. Looks like Malthael will be pushed back in top as well. He's gonna have to play safe against this Dahaka, it looks like. In bottom, though, we do have the Li Ming pushing this wave up from a safe poking distance here, and we have the Rhaegar Vala just kind of spreading out, trying to go in for a flank here onto the Li Ming, but he'll be able to dodge this at the last second. Vala coming in here, trying to get a little bit of damage out. Won't be able to do much, but really just clear out these minions. Do have Stitches currently in mid, in that bush, just waiting for somebody. As we have this first altar phase, it looks like we do have the 4 of these in bottom, actually. Rhaegar looks like he's going to position for the pickup on this. Will be poked by the Li Ming and the Malfurion. We do have the Arthas coming in here with the Stitches as well. I'm going to assume that they're just trading top, so we're not going to focus on it. Li Ming actually getting pulled from the back line, but the roots from the Arthas and the Malfurion are just a little bit too hard for them to deal with. Now, we do have the Vala falling. It's going to be first blood going over to UNT Eagles. We do have this chase on to the Rhaegar, who does get rooted, and he's going to be slowed, and that's going to be the second kill. Now it looks... Oops, sorry about that. Looks like they will be able to steal away this other altar, and they're going to go ahead and get the extra shots. Now in top, this still hasn't been collected. The Dahaka has been slowly just kind of poking this, but he will be able to get away at this point, and now the rest of the team is here, able to just kind of get this and poke away. We do have the Arthas going ahead, and looks like he's going to push up with this, or I think he's going to be Hearthing in bottom. But with that, we do have the majority of the shots going up against beginner bots. Yeah, by UNT Eagles. The last time I casted UNT Eagles, they were on the other side, so just like in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're on the left. They're not. They're on the right. But the laning matchup looks like it's gone back to pretty much the same. We do have the gate a little bit knocked down on the side of beginner bots. In that top lane, we do have this Malthael going up against the Dahaka, and he's actually starting to win this lane over a little bit. Greymane and Malfurion are currently working on this camp over here. They do get the pull from the Stitches, that's why this minion is walking back around. So they know that the Arthas does kind of zone out this area to make sure that no one was kind of coming in for a flank here as the camp was being finished. But they are, looks like they are going to be rotating into this mid wave. No, it looks like they're just going to be changing up their laning matchups. In this bottom, though, this is going to be pretty much the key area. Pushing down this gate yields the double sapper camp to go in, as well as it makes it harder for the team to kind of rotate into this bottom lane for these team fights. As the game progresses, we will see a lot of the this lane kind of prioritized. But at this point, we have a small skirmish here. Not a lot of people taking enough damage for a death. The Malfurion is falling a little bit low, but he will be able to play that backline for that healing. Li Ming trying to get a reset at this point. Blinking forward, not able to yield a kill. We do have 7s on both sides for both teams. In top lane, though, we are going to be, excuse me, as the top lane. In this mid lane, we are going to have the Arthas falling right before this, and that's going to be a really important thing on the side of beginner bots, because of the fact that they've done that, that main, extra tank that would be on that altar for the defense won't be up for another 6 seconds. So this Vala looks like she'll be able to take this bottom by herself, no problem. Greymane might try and poke, but in this middle section, they don't get the middle, but they do get the bottom right away for beginner bots. We're going to see the rest of the team rotating in. Arthas is here now, but Li Ming is extremely low. The cleanse does come out right away. This camp has also pops. They need to make sure that they're not going to take just unnecessary damage from that if it does get tapped by the enemy team. We are seeing the Dahaka fall so low, but he'll be able to just to meander out of this. It looks like Beginner Bots will be taking this other altar over, putting... Oh, never mind. Unfortunately, I think Rhaegar left the same time, and then looks like Zarya got hit. Vala taking so much damage with 75 health, able to get out of there. Li Ming trying to find one magic missile through there to get a reset. She is kind of diving a little bit deep, but she will be backing up. The hook does go off from the Stitches, trying to get a kill onto her. The tongue does go off from the Dahaka. That is one reset for Li Ming. She does have enough mana, so she does get another combo out. This looks like it's actually going to be swapped over, and UNT Eagles are going to go ahead and try and take this. They do get the dive from the Greymane onto the Stitches. 40 health. Does he get away? No. The Greymane dives in, but unfortunately he dies himself to the cannon shots. Now Li Ming is trying to provide a little bit of poke damage as they leave here. Arthas getting some of the roots out. Trying to just smack down this Wolfman a little bit here. It's not going to be able to get that kill. But at this point, with that, we have a lot of experience on the side of UNT Eagles, and this puts them a half of a level from that 10, which is going to really start to, you know, snowball a little bit. Every map really snowballs realistically. But at the same time, I mean, if you do have that 10 advantage, you really start to control the map a little bit. You can push into the enemy team, force them to make plays that maybe they may not feel as comfortable with because of the fact that you have that. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see them going for this invade, but they do get the camp right before. But they go in and they want to get this kill. They dive onto the Rhaegar. They get that right away. And with that, I mean, that's the power of 10. The root onto that dive from the Greymane with just the Curse Bullet. We actually see a hook onto the Arthas here. He's taking a significant amount of damage. There is the Vala trying to get a bunch of damage out here, but it's not going to be able to work out. The root does not connect to her in time. They are chasing her down. They get the flask onto her. Now they are turning onto the Stitches. Li Ming with the reset is going to be able to get that, and they're probably going to go ahead and burn this down since they're already here. They don't have a minion wave to tank it. Arthas looks like he'll... Nope, they're going to go ahead and just work down this gate. Make sure that these sappers get in. And while we have the time, we can take a quick peek at some of these 10 talents. On the side of Beginner Bots, we have the Future Bile. Vala is holding still. I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Rain of Vengeance, though. We have the Explosion Zone from the Zarya, the Tormented Souls from the Malthael, and the Ancestral on the side, or for the Rhaegar. So that bottom's been picked up at this point. They're going to go ahead and push up mid, make sure that they keep this level gap present within the match. As Arthas is going to scout them out as they come through the bush. They do get the root out, but of course the Explosion Zone is there. They get the pull back in. Unfortunately, the silence is there. They don't get the second health bar onto him. Oh no, excuse me. This second health bar goes out onto the Malthael. We do have the Greymane falling, and that is going to be a complete just flip onto UNT Eagles. And that was, I said that when they dove onto that to that Rhaegar, but right there, I mean, the powers of 10, they just completely swapped that fight over. The Ancestral was so powerful onto the Malthael right at the end of that. They go ahead, they get the 3 shots off. Looks like they're going to go ahead and try and push in this bottom on the side of Beginner Bots, as well as retain this tower themselves.
As feeble as your words.
Right. And I didn't really talk about the talents on the side of UNT Eagles, but it looks like it's pretty much standard out of everyone. We have the adaptation from the Dahaka, the... trying to remember off the top of my head, but there's too many talent names. Twilight Dream? Yep. Twilight. I always mix it up with Cho'Gall's level 10. But actually, we have a hook onto the Arthas. There is the Rain of Vengeance from the Vala. The Expulsion Zone does come out, pushing some of these numbers away. The Future Bile is there. Fortunately, there was a root from the Malfurion, which kind of zoned a few of the members away. It was extremely strong. Now, 13s are going to be achieved on the side of UNT Eagles, but at the same time, Beginner Bots are about to get theirs as well. Root does barely miss that Vala. Doesn't look like much is going to be happening from this. They're going to go ahead and lane up and just kind of back off towards their towers. Do have a small skirmish possibly happening here. The hook went out. They did scout them out in this bush down here. Arthas is... Okay, Dahak is actually going to be coming through the bush, trying to go into this Vala, but unfortunately will not be able to get that kill. And that is his burrow currently used up. Granted, at the same time, we do have this double altar phase in top. Looks like Beginner Bots is already positioned for theirs. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see at this point, whoever wins this is probably going to be looking to go for boss right afterwards. Now, they're going ahead and pushing up this top lane just a little bit more, it looks like. Making sure that they're not going to be taking just unnecessary push damage from that top lane, I guess. Greymane will get a hook here. They do get the slam out. There's the Rain of Vengeance. Does not connect. The roots are there. They do get the kill onto the Greymane. That's a significant amount of damage just gone on the side of UNT Eagles. And that's a really powerful move on the side of beginner bots. And as I was saying, wouldn't be too surprised to see a boss call at this point. They get that kill onto the Greymane, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and say, without that Greymane, we're going to just take this. The Haka does show on bottom, and I don't think he had brush talk at the point, so that won't be happening. Arthas will be scouting this out. They won't be able to see it because they have this vision just over here. They don't have it in that bush as well. In bottom lane, I just want to note really quick, we do have this tower currently being just assaulted by a ranger squad on the side of UNT Eagles. Maltheo will come down here. The tongue barely misses him. That would have been really fatal.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our core that leads to the battleground. Use it well.
They're just trying to poke at this point. They don't want to really just lose someone in an unnecessary fight. We do have the Curse Blow go out from the Greymane. There is the hook. Excuse me, the Ancestral onto the stitches at the last second. There was also a root underneath him that was holding him in place. But that Ancestral is just so clutch, just so perfect for this fight. Dahaka having to use adaptation. It does not proc in time, and he will be falling. So that's actually going to be this fight really going over to beginner bots. Strong showing from them. With that, they will be able to get a little bit closer to their 10 or to their 16s, and that's going to be a pretty big power spike for them. Assuming that actually should happen right around the same time as a bell tower phase, I would guess. Yes. If they get this gate and this minion wave, they should be able to get their 16s, which is going to be really, really impactful. The hook does go out, just barely misses. Without that 16 shish kebab, fishing hook, if they do decide to take that. Looks like they get all 3 of the pumpkin sappers in, and they're going to go ahead and posture up into this bush waiting to see who goes for that bottom. Maltheo looks like he's in top, going up against that Dahaka. I think they're fine with trading off here.
The time is now, heroes.
And it looks like they're going to trade off in top, and the main fight is going to be down here in bottom. The Curse Bolt does go out. They get the hook onto Li Ming, pulling out of position. She does have to walk back. There's a huge Twilight Dream from the Malfurion. The Spulsion Zone was there from the Zarya, just zone a few members away. Li Ming poking from this backline, doing an extreme amount of damage. There's a double root onto the Stitches, and the Vala, they get the kill on the Stitches. They are so close to losing their Rhaegar. Maltheo does come in at this point. There's a possibility for a Tormented Souls here. He looks like he's going to go on to this Dahaka, and he will end up falling. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, and that's actually beginner bots kind of pushing back onto this. They're going to go ahead and take this altar over here. So it looks like 8 shots are going to be going over to the core of UNT Eagles, and beginner bots are going to start taking this game back. We do see them posturing up at this point for this keep. Now, it's really important to... that star is just so low. You don't want to burn Ancestral on something like that at the last second. But we are going to be having many of the members here just kind of rotate around. Looks like they're going to go ahead and get this camp. But it might get sniffed out by UNT Eagles. I think they know that that is happening. They currently are diving in forward ahead of her team. They do get the Expulsion Zone out. Dahaka is actually hooked away. They do get the Sapper Cap. There's a really, really early cleanse. Also an Ancestral already coming up, but Maltheo diving in here with the Tormented Souls, getting so much utility within that Stitch's slow, and this is so powerful. And I poo-pooed on their Maltheo, but I should have just shut my mouth because he is currently cleaning up this game. With that, he'll just go ahead and rotate into mid and say, I did my part, I'm going to go back to my laning phase. It looks like Rhaegar is also trying to push up this minion wave with these sappers in bottom. This will give them the control for that bottom bell tower, I believe. Oh, they're going to have to push up with it a little bit more. Hopefully they can get this before the pumpkin sappers make it. That way they don't just take... There we go. So they can potentially get 3 more against the enemy team. The Twilight Dream already coming out. Hook does go out from the Stitches. They get this Li Ming. She will be slowed and rooted and stunned. And that is going to be the Li Ming falling. And it's going to be 3 more shots going over to the UNT core. If they clear up this minion wave. Greymane actually coming here. So it's 1, 2... Do they get the 3rd? It does not look like it, but at the same time, Malfurion will be falling here. So they don't get the extra shot, but they go ahead and confirm the kill onto Malfurion. So that is going to potentially leave their core at 6. Now this fight could go any way. I do want to note that, but at the same time, it is a 3v5 currently, and Malthael is still on top. So it looks like they're just going to go ahead and defend and turtle up for their 20s, and then maybe try and take a fight quite soon. Or excuse me, not turtle up for their 20s. Just lane and play safe for their 20s. There's no reason for them to aggress any further here. Malthael was just staying behind the bush not to get ganked by the Dahaka and just give over unnecessary experience. This bottom looks like it's going to be going over for free, but they're going to go ahead and work towards those 20s as we were talking about. Dahaka pushing up here quite a bit. He does get the tongue onto the Malthael. He will be able to back off. That left signifies that the boss is back. So he will be able to get 4 more shots onto the core. We are currently 4-4 on the bell towers. 4 damage. So realistically, if there's another single phase, we could potentially seeing a boss fight. Looks like the Zarya and the Zvala could potentially get caught out here. The Unstoppable Shield is put onto Zarya herself. That is going to be a huge Twilight Dream for the Malfurion. That's going to be the kill. They do get the reset. That's going to be Zarya falling as well. Oh, at the last second, they do get their 20s, though. Unfortunately, it will not be able to benefit them in this fight. And they're probably going to be giving this fort over, which will push UNT Eagles quite close. And actually, I shouldn't say that it's a fort because it is a keep at this point. And the easy way to know that is whenever this centerpiece actually comes up, which I think is 13 minutes, it changes all the forts to keep, so they deal damage. They deal a higher amount of damage as well as they have a larger health bar, if I'm correct. So that's one thing, just to kind of note at this point, that's really, really powerful for them to be able to get that extra experience. And they're going to go ahead and just try and burn down as many of these towers as possible, so that way they can just at least take down Beginner Bot's core a little bit more during this beacon phase. Now, this bottom probably should be burned down before they can capture the altar. Without their Vala? No, they will be able to. That will be it falling. So they only get 5 shots over, but still, at the same time, it's 5 shots over. Looks like they're waiting in this bush for potential... Okay, they were just zoning out. This is going to be Dahaka once again just pushing up this bottom wave as they get this camp over here. Going to walk that into the keep. And it looks like they're posturing up for a boss, but I don't know if they want to take it or not. They do see that the camp is getting pinged in bottom, but I'm curious if they're going to be going into the enemy team. Nope, they're going to go ahead and clear up this mid. Li Ming is going to just put out a little bit of poke damage just to make sure that they're a little preoccupied. They go ahead and get that in mid, as well as UNT Eagles gets this second camp in bottom. So that's 6 sappers pushing up against this fort, or this keep, excuse me. But it looks like they will be able to get 2, 4, 6 of them in the fort, needing just a poke. Li Ming getting that. She actually gets hooked here. The slam gets out. There's the tormented soul from the Malthael, getting onto so many of the members of UNT Eagles. There's the bloodbath currently, the future Bile currently coming out. The Stitches, we're going to have the Malfurion falling here, actually. The Stitches, though, with the future Bile, it just, and I believe the Mega Slam at 16, yeah. Pair that with the Earth Grasp Totem? Earth Grasp Totem, am I correct? Yeah. So it's just so much slow. I mean, I was watching some of the members of UNT Eagles just try and leave that fight, and it was just their character was just millimeters of moving. Oh, what a phenomenal engagement by Beginner Bots. They go ahead and take over the right side bell tower. Now, if they do get the boss, they could go ahead and just try and walk in sappers or just wait for a bell tower phase. And I would assume that's what they try and get the kill onto the Li Ming. It looks like they're actually going to go ahead and push into this mid, creating a little bit more pressure. I think a boss play at this point would have been a little bit more powerful. It would have put the core towards, 2 points. They would have had a lot more options to end the game. They definitely could have finished it by now too. But it looks like they're going to go ahead and just try and get this mid burned down as quickly as possible. And there's the reason I'm just saying that I'm not a fan of this is because of the fact that there's not a whole lot of value of getting mid. They get the extra shot, yeah, but it's not like you can walk sappers through it, or top and bottom you can. Middle, it's just, you got a fort and it's harder for them to rotate through that middle position. But even then, again, you could go through the teleporter and rotate down if you want to be that aggressive. But at the same time, go ahead and clear out this bottom. So we see this huge fight. This is basically, this is, UNT Eagles need to play extremely safe here. They're actually losing the bell tower to the left. So that only leaves their top currently. Now you can't end the game by rushing core, of course. So they do have to take this fight. We do have the Dahaka running straight into their actually adaptation being popped right away, and it's not going to get any value because it's not taking damage, but there's a huge Twilight Dream for the Malfurion. They actually get the Tormented Souls off, but no kills are yielded from that. The Explosion Zone does come out. They do get the pull. They do get the Greymane kill. That is going to be the first reset. Excuse me. Thinking of Li Ming. That's just going to be the first kill. That is going to be a kill, though, onto the Malthael. But they go ahead and clean that up, and it looks like the GGs are already called out. They do actually get the fort back at the last second, so they have to actually... It's not GG technically yet. They have to they have to get boss. But at the same time, with this boss, I mean, there's no way that they can get up in time. So it looks like we are going to be having GGs at this point. Let's just go ahead and take a peek at some of these talents, though. We never really got to talk about the 20s. We do have the upgrade Essence Claws for the Dahaka. We typically see the Apex Predator from him. It's interesting to me that we did not have that coming out. We have the Hardened Shield actually from the Stitches. Usually, I think, you can go the upgraded. But either way, it's GG, well played. First game going over to beginner bots. And with that, we're going to go to our fancy in-between game screen. How is everyone doing in Twitch chat? That was amazing. And thanks to everyone who's watching. I see all of you. Just looking at just some of these stats. Quite 110,000 from the Malthael from the siege damage. Just out of this world. Li Ming doing so much siege as well. 109,000. Both of them actually outdoing the Dahaka. Not by a whole lot, but at the same time, still outdoing their Dahaka is pretty powerful. Overall, that was a really good first game. I really like that. The one thing that I wasn't too sure about is I don't know if the Li Ming got the value that I think they wanted, and if that first ban on Uther might have hindered the side of UNT Eagles. Because they ended up going to the Malfurion, which, in my opinion, I don't play a lot of support, but at the same time, I feel like there might have been a couple better choices. I think Stukov, honestly, would have been pretty strong on this map on the side of UNT Eagles because of the fact that there was a lot of team fighting, and the pustule that would have spread, I think, would have been a lot more burst up against that Malthael. Malfurion does have really slow, I think, heal times, and it's heal overtime, so I don't think it counters the Malthael well. Granted, it was a last pick, so they couldn't expect that completely, but at the same time, I should actually change something. Beginner bots win, so it actually updates the UI. There we go. Cool. So we're going to be going into our second game here. They're probably going to be... just got to get a lobby link from the teams here. We'll set up the lobby and get going. There we go. Yeah, no, Murda, actually, as I was looking at that, I was thinking that it would be pretty nice, like, maybe right above my head just to do... I've actually been talking with the guy who does all my assets, and he has a couple ideas for some... He actually has a whole thing mocked up for this. This is just what I threw together, because there was a lot of people requesting cams, so gotta appease the fans. Or at least the people who show up to watch me stream. But thank you again to everyone who watches me stream. Thank you for coming by. Thanks for supporting Chair League. And thanks for supporting these teams. It's very awesome of you guys to stop by on a weeknight like this and watch some amateur heroes and support some, honestly, better players than me. But no, Murda, you're completely right. Definitely some sort of... I think we got something in the works to maybe show the talents while we do this kind of setting up the lobby phase. And I actually think I might have seen him pop into Twitch chat, so maybe he's watching and he heard. But we'll see. Either way, it looks like the lobby is all set up. Let me just refresh the Chair League page. They might start without me. I need to just put you in so it auto updates. Start round 2. So it should show Infernal Shrines. Tell them that I'm ready. Okay, so here we go into Infernal Shrines, the second map here. I like this. I like this. I like this. I really enjoy this map, and I really enjoy casting on this map too. So, we actually have the first band going over to UNT Eagles again, so it looks like this was a map pick by Beginner Bots? I believe so. I can actually double check that really quick. Actually, excuse me. Huh. Unless... Oh, they might have switched sides on me. I'm thinking they did that, because I was like, Beginner Bots should have first pick, and usually teams don't get to give that up. So they actually, the teams might be switched. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't check the lobby right away. I was just trying to make sure that everything goes perfect. Yes, sub well spent. I got a green screen. Thank you. Yes. But it was requested. But it looks like we're going to have the Dahaka being banned out here on Infernal Shrines by what I can assume to be Beginner Bots. We'll just call them left and right for now. My apologies for not checking the sides. Now, at this point, I'm just trying to think, like, what do you really want to ban out here that you just don't want to deal with? The Uther seems to be just kind of the standard, but there are other things that I think could be powerful in this map. That may be banning those out. And it looks like we're actually going to the Malthael ban. So I'm assuming at this point we do have the side switch. UNT Eagles should be on the left, because that looks like a respect ban to me against that Malthael. And we are actually going to have the Ariel first pick on the right-hand side. I wouldn't be too surprised to see an Uther Stitches? Nope, they're going to go ahead and take away the Vala. So they get the Vala to make sure that it doesn't pair into the Ariel. But then again, as we talked about in the last draft, you could easily just go into a Gul'dan. He has really good wave clear. He has really good shrine clear. The Horrify is an extremely good utility for a team fight. The Corruption that you can throw into the Skeletal Defenders is really powerful for stacking as well, or, well, stacking up the minions, as well as just putting out a lot of poke damage. The Fell Flame, it's just... I think he's kind of perfect for the comp that's currently being built on the side of UNT Eagles. But at this... or I think it's Beginner Bots, actually. We'll figure it out. I might just be screwing it up all draft. I apologize, chat. And then, honestly... And Arthas wouldn't be bad here as well. Arthas has really, really good fight in the Shrine. You're locking in 3 really strong heroes. They're going to go ahead for the Stitches, actually, and the Gul'dan. Okay. So the Gul'dan, I'm really happy that they chose that. It pairs well. The Stitches hook is just really powerful. I'm going to assume that they're going to have something to capitalize on that. They do have the Ariel. She could whip them into a wall if there is the hook. I'm trying to see how the hook is going to synergize. But either way, we're going into our second ban phase, actually. Looking on the right-hand side, they've got a good healer. They've got a good tank, wave clear. They're going to need either a melee damage and maybe a healer, or... that's actually a possibility, too. Tassadar actually being banned out here. And the one thing I was going to start saying on the side of the right-hand side is like a Greymane would go really well here. And then I'm like, well, what else? And Tassadar wouldn't be bad. But at the same time, they are going to need a little bit more of a front line. And yeah, someone in Twitch chat, you were so close, the Cho'Gall plus Ariel. I don't know if they would have run that, though, to be honest. If they would have banned out Greymane, it would have maybe just shown. But at the same time, they had second bans, so I don't know what you do there. Either way, great call, by the way, by Samson S. We do have the Leoric into a Stukov here. All right, so back to the right-hand side. I started on this thought. They need more of a front line. They only have the Stitches, so I wouldn't be too surprised, actually. In my opinion, what would round out their comp the best would probably be something bruisery like a Sonya. I really like her because she's really good on the shrines as well, and you're building this really good shrine fighting team, as well as she's a really good laner. You don't have the Dahaka for that global threat anymore, and laning. And then a Greymane paired into that. I don't think they're going to solo tank with the Leoric, and I didn't think they were going to solo tank ever, so the Cursed Bullet would be really strong. He's also good on the shrines. Like, I think if you definitely picked up the Sonya, or even like Garrosh is open actually too. If you were to pick up Garrosh and Greymane, yeah, do that. Please do that. Right hand side, make my day. Please pick up the Garrosh into the Greymane. It would be so strong. I think it'd be just so strong for their team. There's the Sonya and actually Alarak. I still like this. Alarak is just, to me, whenever I go up against an Alarak, I'm terrified. And it's mostly because of the fact that, like, if you go, there's a good and a bad Alarak. I mean, there's one that, like, telekinesis is you, like, into the enemy team, and it's just so, you know, they're really, really good at just maneuvering and manipulating you on the battlefield. And then you have the Alaraks who, like, go to move themselves, and they, like, telekinesis in front of themselves, and then you just, like, well, I'm just going to chase you to death. But I still really like that. The Sonya into the Alarak is really powerful here. And then the Arthas, as I was saying, they're going to have that extra tank. So the Arthas there is just, he's really good on the shrines as well. But here we go into our second game of the evening on Infernal Shrines. All right, and on the left-hand side, looks like we're going to have UNT Eagles with Calgar on Leoric, Phoenix Sniper on Uther, Legacy X on Arthas, Aken on Stukov, and Zephyr on Vala. And on the right-hand side, we have Beginner Bots with Lagacia on Stitches, Stealth on Ariel, Judo Trip on Gul'dan, Tinao on Sonya, and FPS Joe on Alarak. All right, though, here we go. And so just everyone in Twitch chat knows, the asset to the left-hand side, or in the bottom left corner, is going to be incorrect due to the fact that they are on opposite sides of the map. So UNT Eagles is actually blue, and Beginner Bots is red. So I guess just keep that in mind if it confuses you at all, just so you guys know. I'll try and do my best to make sure I don't flip the names, because last game they were on the other side, so I was already used to saying that.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the battle begin.
Okay, just trying to make sure I get as much water in me as possible before this starts. Well, it looks like we do have the corruption stacks coming out from the Gul'dan. We'll be monitoring those as the game progresses here. Hook does go up from the Stitches, trying to find someone in that bush. Will not be able to yield that. Alright, so a little bit of a Fell Flame coming out. Nothing too much. It looks just a lot of posturing at this point. Nothing too big. We do have the Sonya currently in top lane. And that is going to be just going up against the Arthas. Typically we do see a... That was the telekinesis that I was talking about. That was really, really good, pulling them out of position there. Almost taking the Vala down to below half health, so a little bit more of a capitalization would have been really powerful here. So the one thing I want to talk about is typically on this map we do see a 1-4 rotation. You have a strong solo laner in top, and then you do this 4-man rotation between mid and bottom, but it looks like the Stitches has not come with them as well. They do get the stun onto the Alarak. Is there a slow? Do they get the kill? They do. And so that is going to be the first blood going over to UNT Eagles. So, different team this match. At least going into this, they're definitely showing they're a little bit more dominant on this map here. So in that top lane though, we're gonna be focusing mostly on this 4-man rotation here. With that kill though, they do have to kind of stagger theirs on the side of Beginner Bots because of the fact that they do need to rotate and clear that bottom first. They do get the whip onto the Arthas, making him back off a little bit here. So this first shrine is actually in top, so it's really good. Mostly for Beginner Bots because the fact that they don't have to clear too much. They can rotate right into that. do have this already started by the Leoric. Now, it looks like we do have an aggressive rotation here. Leoric isn't backing off. He does have his spooky walk. I do not remember the technical name for that one. But at the same time, we do have a few of the members, the rest of the team of UNT Eagles rotating in for this. Gul'dan is currently working down the altar just a little bit. You have the pull in from Alarak. Unfortunately, they get the double root off from the Arthas. Now they are starting to back off here, but the Vala will get the kill onto the Alarak here. And the body blocking from this Arthas is just out of this world. They get the kill on the Sonya. The root is onto the Stitches. There is the silence. Unfortunately, they do not get the kill. Hook does go out, but it just connects onto a minion, so they'll be able to back off of this fine. And looks like they'll be able to control this altar on the side of UNT Eagles. So with that, though, they are going to go ahead on the side of beginner bots, just rotate back into this mid lane. They're just going to try and make sure that they don't lose too much experience with this Punisher push. New York is going to be able to just kind of counteract this push in. Without their healer, this is a little bit of a risky move here. They do have the 3-man in bottom currently, with Alarak actually rotating in the mid. And now we do have him going up against the Uther, so this is going to be an interesting push. The Punisher goes over the gate. Looks like they're currently working down one of the towers. Are they going to get this? So they're going to go through the gate as well. Punisher trying to help out his friends, make sure that they get income for the party. Punisher being at about 38% health here, so they should be able to actually get the fort. The jump does come out. They get the stun, the root onto the Sonya. They are collapsing on her. The spin is there, but they unfortunately will be getting that kill, and it looks like the bus just drove into her with that Stukov punch. They're going to go ahead and make sure that they get that well as well. It's a really powerful thing to have during these altar phases because of the fact that if you can go back and tap your well, you can go right back into it. So the gates and the wells are, in my opinion, very, very important on this map. We do just checking in on some of these talents and some of these questing talents as well. Looks like we're getting a little bit of the ways through for quite a bit of them, but unfortunately they will not be finished just yet. Unfortunately, also for beginner bots, they will be losing their Stitches. That is also going to be a root onto the Sonya. That's a double kill. And with this hard camp, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them maybe try and burn down the gate a little bit here. Gul'dan is rotating up. He's going to go ahead and push this wave back. Alarak is left to kind of defend mid and bottom. I think they should definitely take advantage of one of these gates with some of the members down. They maybe should have aggressed onto this this middle gate, knowing that a few of the members did have to rotate up for that defense in top lane. And the reason I'm just harping on that is if you take out that gate, there's nothing for the Punisher to hop over. There's nothing to bait that first jump and pull them by that keep and tower. So, you know, if you have that asset on your team that is just so powerful when it comes to the Punisher phase. Looks like bottom has been worn down quite a bit, though. We do have a small skirmish here. Uther just trying to invade this camp a little bit. The rest of the team of UNT Eagles coming in on this camp. Looks like Leoric will walk forward, getting the slow onto the Stitches. They do get the stun to him as well. Telekinesis does come out onto the Uther, excuse me, the Arthas. He will be hooked back, and that will be the kill onto him. Now they're going to have to disengage from this camp. We do have mid currently being pushed in and top as well, so they're going to need to respond to that on the side of beginner bots, but they're going to go ahead and start this altar phase here. Leoric is actually already going to be back into this. The Arthas is up in about 6 seconds. Sonya having to rotate into that top position. It's going to be just a couple man down here. It's not going to be beneficial for them. They're going to have to probably give this up. And that's also 10 talents on the side of UNT Eagles. They do get the hook onto the Vala, but that is actually going to be a entomb onto the Ariel, unfortunately, and this is going to be the gate falling before the Punisher. Looks like Vala will be poking it down against the Stitches. But that Ariel kill so early is just really powerful. Without the healer, they definitely can't do too much about this. And it looks like they're going to try and delay this out a little bit. Well, at least they did it a little bit slow, so that way they could make sure that they get these this camp down here to push with the Punisher. We actually did have the last second pickup of Divine Shield, so we won't be seeing the Divine Storm coming out this game. The Punisher does hop over the gate. They start to burn down the gate here so they can get into this engagement, excuse me. We do have the Arthas back in the fray now. So with that, the rest of the team is starting to push a little bit harder. We do have the Entomb up from the Stitches. It looked like he was going to maybe do it to the... I said Stitches, the Leoric. Looked like he was going to go for that Stitches with the Entomb, but unfortunately he didn't. Now we do have the Sonya joining the team. Unfortunately, we do have, oh, the Punisher will be jumped over, but they also entomb the Stitches here. He won't be able to get out. That's going to be really just insanely creative on the side of UNT Eagles. I've never that's so ingenious. To as the Punisher gets baited over the gate, you lock him in, so the Punisher's just sitting there. He's already jumped on you, so he just starts bashing your face in with his gigantic fists. What? Wow. That was so interesting. I was curious as to why they were saving that entomb. They could have chased him, got that kill, but granted, that's my mentality of just chasing and killing. But at this point, we do have the 10s achieved on the side of beginner bots also, and it looks like with these shiny new talents, they want to go in for a fight here. The hook does come out. It does not connect. And they need to be careful here at the same time because of the fact that 13s are really close on the side of UNT Eagles. And it's not the biggest power spike in the world, but at the same time, it's still a talent tier advantage. And at this point, about a 3-level advantage. Uther will scout this out over the wall. Doesn't look like they're going to be caring too much for this. Hook does go out, but it won't connect. Now that Leoric's here, I think they're going to care a little bit more. There's the Leoric already going in. Entomb is up. They get 2 of the members here. Actually, the Fed attempts just come out from the Stukov. They get the swipe back, pushing back that future bile. Fortunately, there is the Arthas. The leap does go in onto the Vala, does vault forward. The D shield does go out onto the Stukov. I think it was actually meant for the Vala there. We do have the Arthas taking a significant amount of damage. He's currently 1v5ing. What are you doing, Arthas? He will be falling here, though, and that is actually going to it's still 13s on the side of UNT Eagles, but at the same time, there's a little bit of a gap closer for beginner bots because of the fact that they did get that a little bit of a late game kill. Does help them a little bit here. So with that, though, we have this camp currently being picked up in mid. This will be going into mid. This will be pushing up into top. Stitches is currently rotating into this. I don't know if he realizes it. Okay, so he goes ahead and just gets right out of there. Rest of the team is coming in here for an aggressive flank. The Vala is taking a significant amount of damage. Half her health is poisoned currently. Future Bell doesn't go out from the Stitches, trying to get onto some of these members. But the Leoric doing such a good job of body blocking, and the Entomb also keeps some of the members from going in for this engagement. Now Vala has poked down a lot of them significantly. That is also going to be the Uther falling here. He does have the Ghost Heals. That is the Aegis also coming out, saving at the last second. This is a leap onto the Stukov. They're trying to get this kill, but Sonya's falling so low. We do have the Stitches falling here with the Sonya also. And that is a really big move, really powerful thing for UNT Eagles. They get the slow onto the Gul'dan, and I don't think... Wow. Just that last second horrify. Oh my god. Now we do have this hard camp pushing into this top gate, and this is also a top Punisher currently. It's a frozen Punisher, which not as scary as the Arcane, but at the same time is still pretty powerful. So it's definitely something you need to worry about. And without their 13s and their their Sonya and their Stitches just about back up, they're going to go ahead and play this safe, and I think this is going to be going over to UNT Eagles. So it looks like they're actually going to be hiding in these bushes, going for a gank as the Punisher is picked up here in top lane. So they did also, they cleared up that camp. The music is just so fitting. Oh, Leoric, do you see this coming? The rest of the team does. The Entomb does go out. A few of the members, they hop right onto him. That is going to be Leoric falling right away. The swipe does not get them back far enough. They actually get the hook onto the Stukov, who actually ends up... Oh, no. He gets the D shield, but unfortunately he's not sure which way to go, and he will be dying. They get the root, and actually they're going to be running towards their Punisher, which I think is actually pretty strong. The Punisher, I think, still has a lead. And there it is, so they're going to get the stun onto a few of the members. They get the root as well. It looks like they're going to focus down the Stitches, but a few of the members are going to be horrified here and just pulled away. That is going to be the rest of the team currently. They really want this keep. It's actually Stitches falling here as well. The Leoric did come back up, and this Arthas is just running around this keep, just I can't believe that they got out of there, the two of them. I was expecting just that to be all of them dying, and this is actually the keep potentially falling here. Nope, the Punisher hops and then actually saves it. If maybe they had like an Asmodean or something, they could just dunk on it, but that's just me hoping one day someone in Chair League will play Asmodean for me. Either way, we do have... their comps are way better than what I could also put together, just a side note. I usually just hop into a quick match with Asmodean because that's the fun thing to burn through a couple dailies in quick match. We do have the camps though picked up, I think, just about the same time here. Checking in some of these talents and some of these questing talents. It looks like Arthas is done with all of his. We have 16s just about on the edge for UNT Eagles. They do get it here. Uther's just about done with his level 1. He only needs, I think, 2 more. Looks like Stukov's getting quite a ways through his as well. It looks like they're just going to go ahead and back off. They don't want to fight they don't want to fight against these 16 towns just yet. They're about halfway there themselves. Now we could see an aggressive flank come out, but unfortunately they do kind of sniff it out. They're not going to let that happen to them just so easily. And that actually will also complete Uther's level 1 quest, and Gul'dan is actually finishing his level 1 quest as well. The Alarak, the Entomb just barely misses the Alarak there, and that would have been a big disaster. They want to go for the keep. They are sick and tired of looking at this. They're going to go ahead, get this camp pushed up against it. They're not going to start the other one. They actually get the telekinesis onto a couple of members here, but it does not get them much good position. The future ball does come up from the stitches. There is an actual engagement. It's just a lot of zoning at this point. They really want to make sure that they don't give this keep easily. So they burn a few ultimates here. And we actually have the Rain of Vengeance. Not Rain of Vengeance. A Huge Horrify, actually, excuse me, 1 second. Huge Horrify, they actually pulled the Leoric right back in. He won't be able, he's not dying, unfortunately. The Stukov is just so powerful. The leap in from the Sonya, though, is getting so much of the damage. A lot of them are slowed here, and this looks like it's going to be at least 2 of the members dying on the side of UNT Eagles. T now actually getting ice, Crystal Aegis at the last second. And this is going to be all of the members. That is a UNT Eagles dominated. But at the same time, what I would like to note is that they still have... this bottom is fairly pushed in, and these are late death timers, so they should get a decent amount of value out of this Punisher. They don't have a lot of members on this altar currently, so this is going to be a little bit of a slow achievement for the Stitches. So the majority of the members should be back up by then. They're going to be able to utilize this time to de-push their lanes, get a couple... Well, get a camp to push up their top so that they don't... Leoric. It's actually going to be a pause really quick, so we're going to go ahead and just switch over. There we go. All right, we're back. Okay. For now, we're just going to be here. I don't want to. Punching my mic. I don't want to show the map to any of the members that could potentially be watching stream. They should be able to count this down. But either way, overall, I mean, this game is just... There's a lot of things coming out that I'm not expecting. I mean, these late game team wipes that UNT are taking, I don't know if they're not like intentional, if it's just they're maybe getting a little too comfortable on the map. I'm not quite sure yet, and it's throwing me off because they had such a dominant start. I mean, literally, we just saw Leoric spawn next to the keep, attack it a bunch of times. Alarak looks like he just comboed him and killed him, and the keep killed, or comboed him and did a bunch of damage, as well as the keep burning him down, because the keep is showing that it got the kill. But they did end up getting that, so that's going to be Catapult currently pushing in that top lane. Same time, though, it looks like we are all set. We're going to be going back into the game here in a second. One thing that they need to add to this game, Blizzard, I know you're watching, with all of my 14 current watchers, when we hit pause break, make it auto count down 3, 2, 1. All right. right, we're back into this. We did have the Leoric currently dying in top lane, but he did get this keep. The members are going to be working on this bottom altar. Now, as I was noting beforehand, looks like this bottom gate's already kind of burned down. This is it should be that'll be a 15-minute Punisher. So this is going to be pretty powerful. Now I'm wondering... Okay, so they're going to go ahead and do another one of these bush parties on the side of beginner bots. And the one thing that we always want to make sure is that whenever there's a bush party, you have to whisper. You don't want the enemy team to hear you. Oh, no, they're going to go ahead and give it up. Looks like the Arthas did show on top. The Vala is showing in mid, so they're going to go ahead and give it the Sport. The Punisher did take about 30% damage during that. 29 if you want to be exact. But with this is going to be a strong push. Now, Arthas did Hearth already. Looks like Vala is currently in mid lane. They do get the bait over the wall. Leoric will start to kind of guide this Punisher. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I was trying to see if I could zoom out even further. Looks like, though, they do get the gate down here. They do actually get the hook onto one of the members. They get this dive. There is the D-shield, though. So many of these members are just taking so much damage. Oh my god, the Horrify and everything. UNT Eagles is starting to just do so much damage, but Beginner Bots is trying to get away. Now, none of the members have fallen here. I just want to note that. Nobody has died just yet. During that entire just blow up of damage and ultimates and leaps and everything. No one's died. Now, Stitches is... Okay, he's about 500 health, but... So he will be able to get out of there. No big deal. They're chasing this down. They do get the slow from the Stukov. Are they going to be... The friendly hook does come out from the Stitches. The slam does go out as well, which slows a few of the members. They are just retreating into their base. The Entomb comes out from the Leoric, and they will not be able to save the Stitches. Now, that is going to be a critical kill, because that's 60 seconds, and they're already at this keep. But they're going to go ahead and disengage, actually. They have no minion wave to push up with this, so they'd be taking unnecessary damage from the keep, and that would just pretty much get the fight. Plus, at the other factor that we need to note here, UNT Eagles does not want to feed one kill at all because of the fact that they will get their 20s, and that is a huge power spike at this game. They are going to be going ahead and just working down this fort, trying to even up this experience. They won't be hitting it at the same time, but they're at least just trying to close that gap. Now the side soak should be able to give them 20s any second here. I'm curious to see. The Stitches is up in about 10 seconds. Okay, so we do have the 20 talents already coming out. And with that, right away, they go ahead and disengage on the side of UNT Eagles. Looks like they're going to go ahead and back off, get a few camps here, and try and really... You can see on the map right now, they've got so much lane control, and they've been obviously doing so well during this game. Now, they did lose that last Punisher, which, as you can see in the bottom left, did a decent amount of damage to that keep. Not a whole lot. They do actually get the stun with the hook. The Stukov, he actually gets the D-shield right away. He gets the swipe, pushes a few of the members back, but there is the Horrify, and as well as the Entomb, so that actually locks one of the members in, and they get that kill, and they go ahead and clear up this camp. So Beginner Bots getting that critical Uther pick the last second, and I don't think he took Redemption, did he? No, he took Benediction at 20. So we don't have Uther having that ability to come back into a team fight. That's an interesting 20 pick, honestly. They don't have 20s. My mistake. I'm getting used to the new UI, and I assumed this was the last row. He didn't have Redemption. Yeah, he actually took it. That's what I was so confused. I was like, how? I don't play enough Uther, so Benediction didn't trigger anything in the back of my mind. Apologize, Switch chat. But at the same time, this bottom push currently, it looks like they're trying to... This is a huge push. Sony is forced down into this. Looks like UNT... Or excuse me, UNT Eagles, they're going to go ahead and just say, never mind, we don't care about the Punisher. We want this keep. We want to end the game. We have 20s. You have 20s. Fight us. We'll get rid of this currently, and we're going to see a huge brawl about to start. Maybe? No? They pulled them away. because it's not like they can't get.
Red team's core is under attack.
It's not like they can't get the Punisher in mid, and this camp isn't, or that huge mini wave isn't going to be helping out if they do end up losing a team fight and they start to push. Now we do have the spear, but the Sonya is currently getting a little bit low. I think she has the leap to get out if she really needs it. But this is a little bit of damage going out. The Uther does dodge the hook. There is one of the pushes back. There is a Horrify actually from the Gul'dan, which I think actually got canceled out because it's currently showing off cooldown. We do have the Future Bow from the Stitches, though. We do have an Entomb from the Orc, but we do have Alarak diving in, and this... Oh my... D-Shield comes out. The Sonya is actually leaping in. There's another swipe away from the Stukov, and I think he's out of charges. The Sonya actually getting Aegis. That's interesting. But we are going to have the Stukov falling here, and this is exactly the nightmare that I was just talking about. If they get a reverse like sweep or any sort of a, you know, counter kill or just one pick, and they do have to back off here. They have to just get one minion. This wave has pushed up this gate quite a bit. They're actually going to wait for the Punisher, make sure they get this fort down first, and then they'll go ahead and capitalize it on. They'll capitalize with the Punisher and the siege camp as Sonya's rotating into the team. Looks like Stasis will probably be able to get like a slam or something. Yep, that's a slam, and that's the camp. Now, UNT Eagles, they need to play this extremely safe. They don't have their healer. Well, they don't have Stukov for another 20 seconds. They have Uther, and I don't believe Redemption's on cooldown currently. I don't know if this shows it. I don't think he didn't die during that last engagement. He got out. Punisher does go over the gate. Leoric baits him away. They do get the dash through with the Alarak. The silence is there. The telekinesis onto the Uther. They are getting the spin onto him. They just have so much control onto this Uther who will not die, but he does have that I'm so sorry. That was Arthas. I mixed up his skins. But either way, they're going to go ahead and confirm this keep, and looks like they're going to be aggressing onto the core at this point. With Arthas dead and Vala dead, they don't have much to defend with, as well as this Punisher currently just says, I don't care about that other keep, I'm going to be going on to this core. There's another push back from the Stukov as well. The Uther will be falling too. Does have the Redemption. He should be able to come right back up. This is going to be the Stukov falling, and that is going to be the core going over. GGs are called out. Second game going over to beginner bots, and I think they take the entire series. GG, well played.